Yo.
Hello, hello.
How we doing?
What's up, guys?
How you been? You good?
I'm good.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Paths Podcast.
Thank
Ladies
you for
and gentlemen,
having me.
we have Irie Williams
Miss
in
Irie
the
Williams.
building.
Thank you for pulling up.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you for pulling up.
I've been meaning to come for a long time, so I'm glad we finally worked it out.
I'm seriously glad you're here, especially for the fact that, you know, so much attention is poured on the people that are in front of the camera, not knowing there's just an entire world behind the camera that are essential to bringing every project that people love to life. And you are an essential part of that. But before we get into that, where are you from?
So I'm from Detroit, originally outside Detroit, a suburb called Auburn Hills. And, I grew up there. I was born in Wisconsin. My dad worked for GM, so we moved around a lot.
Okay.
And I ended up in Detroit in like elementary school.
Very cool.
I've basically been there until college.
Okay.
And I went to college in Louisiana,
Which school?
Grambling State.
Yes.
Very
The
popular.
Grambling State University.
Very
Yeah,
popular.
them Tigers is right.
Hello.
Okay.
You know what it is. And I moved to Atlanta, and I lived there
Yeah.
for 3 years.
What years
after
were you in Atlanta?
2012 to 2015.
Okay. I was out there during that
Me
window.
too. I was a freshman in
You
junior.
know, I met a lot of people that live here that were like, oh, I was in Atlanta for those years, which is so funny. I guess it was like a great migration.
I was there from 2014 to 2017.
Okay.
Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You love it, don't
Man,
you?
it's special.
I miss it.
And listen, I laid the foundation for my career there, so absolutely I love Atlanta. Atlanta will always have a special place in my heart.
Same. My dad's from Atlanta.
It's from the
Part.
Adamsville,
Okay.
the Southwest. Yeah.
That's what's
Watch.
Well, for some folks who don't know who you are, can you please let folks know who you are and what exactly it is you do in production and why it's so important to have someone like you in the room?
Well, my name is Irie Williams.
Irie Big Irie, not the little one.
I am a casting director and a casting associate. Those are my day jobs, but I'm also a writer and producer, aspiring director. I feel like it's important to interview someone like me, not necessarily me, but someone like me, because we are, casting is probably, in my opinion, the biggest part of putting a story together, putting a project together. We're helping these teams bring people to life, bring these characters to life. Yeah.
No, that's
You mentioned a lot that you do as far as paths are concerned, but if we talk about the casting part of it, how did you fall into that?
So I actually moved out here to be a talent agent. I wanted to be a talent agent, or
Really?
manager, yeah.
Okay.
And so when I first moved out here, I repped I managed, like I had a rapper, I had a singer, I had
Check
some
you out.
A little
models,
bit of everything.
a few actors, and I would just like submit people on Backstage, on LA Casting. I would just, anything I could find, I would just book people gigs, take my little cut.
right.
And while I was doing that, I was working in pharmaceuticals.
Okay.
So that was like my day job. And I was miserable. Like I worked with Pfizer, Avenir, Moderna, all the big pharma. And it was very depressing. It was like a corporate job. And I was like, I want to be on a set. Like I want to be in the, the industry somewhere. So I would I started PAing at like music videos or indie shorts, anything. And then I found a web series called Out of Pocket.
Okay.
And I applied just to be a PA. And they asked me to be an associate producer. And
They just asked you, or did you say something that was?
so actually back up. So I started up as a PA, and then I went and met with the EPs, and they asked me to help the casting director.
Okay.
And be the casting assistant, because I was submitting all my clients with LA Casting. I was already familiar with all the websites. So like, oh, you can help her. And so as I'm doing that, I was just kind of maybe overstepping casting. Like, I started producing.
We love rule breakers. We love rule breakers.
Yeah, they started kind of like helping all the producers, and they asked me to be an associate producer. From that, I was hooked. I was like, oh, this is, there was a moment where a light switch clicked on, and I was like, yo, people do this for a living, for real, and I can do this, and I'm good at it. And I realized it's something I've always wanted to do, but it was never a possibility to me. It just literally never even crossed my brain that, oh, casting directors. At that time, I couldn't have told you the name of one casting director.
Wow.
Because I literally just never really thought. I just pictured like some stuffy white man in a room somewhere, like in a boardroom, like, oh, this person will play this. Like,
Right.
and then after the web series, I joined Casting Society.
CSA.
CSA, they have a like a email list,
Okay.
and then they'll send out. So if anyone wants to get into casting,
Say that. Yeah, go.
Yeah, no, say the whole name.
CSA, Casting Society of America, they have an email list where you can just sign up. You just go to the website, join the list, and any casting director that's looking for work in their office or help in their office, associate, assistant, they blast it out. And then it's like with the actual people's emails, so you can email your resumes up directly to them.
That's
I've been playing this game for 9 years, 6 months, 21 days. That's the first time I ever heard that.
Because people don't tell you. One thing about
Thank you for
Hollywood
saying
is
that.
people gatekeep, and it's
Yeah,
crazy.
worst part.
They
Thank
gatekeep,
you for saying
and I truly feel like there's room for all of it at the table.
I agree.
And I mean, we all do. That's what's going on with the strike right now. Everyone's pissed off because there's people that are just eating everything, and we're all starving, but we're sitting at the table. There's room for us too. So someone told me that, and it changed my life. So I'll tell other people, and it's great. Like I've sent resumes to like casting offices years ago, and I like recently get a call. Hey, you sent this like a few years ago. Like
Oh,
we still
wow.
have it. Like you free to hop on this pilot, or can you do this? Like,
Wow.
so it's really just like a gift that keeps on giving.
But and that, right? Because like again, no one speaks about that, and that's what PASS is all about.
It's
like
so easy,
and
and it will help, especially people like us, like that don't know.
1,000%.
Like when I moved here, like I didn't know anyone, and for the longest time, I felt like anytime a friends, I also from this web series, it's kind of how I got like my core group, my tribe of friends, because everyone we were all on the same like bottom level, just trying to climb up, and now like we've all just leveled up. Everyone, like people that were like entry level, assistants are now development execs at FX at Disney.
What year did Out of Pocket?
2018.
2018. So in 5 years, people's
So, yeah.
entire lives.
And some of the actors have booked series regular roles on shows, and I've had the pleasure of being able to like see them grow from the beginning and like assist in any way I can. So it's been super dope. And then you have a community that supports each other and like keeps you on your toes, helps you to be better. I said all this. There was a point I was trying to make. I can't remember.
How important is your tribe?
Was that the point?
That wasn't what I was going
The
at. But I don't know
tribe
what
is
you were
tribe is extremely
going
important.
for.
It will make or break your journey, your path in any industry.
PASS. We'll go with that.
Hashtag path. Hashtag path for us.
But the direction I was going in, if it jogs your memory, feel free to cut me
Yeah.
off and continue. Like, there's so much information, seminars, showcases, classes for actors. Actor. I would go to workshops beginning my career in Atlanta. The director would be talking to an actor at a panel. An agent would be talking to an actor at a panel. A casting director, as you know, would be talking to an actor at a panel. And then one day, my brain clicked. It's like, hold up, bro, what you do? How'd you get there? And that began to pique my interest, the entire world of it. Like, you're sitting here telling the actors exactly how to get your attention as an actor, but it's like, well, how do I become a casting director?
Yeah.
How do I become a director? How do I become an agent? How do I become a producer? So that gem you dropped on the website is incredible. What other, go ahead, please.
Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. So what I was saying is back to having this tribe, I felt like all of these friends were trying to help me out. Like, okay, yeah, you want to quit this pharmaceutical job. You want to, you want to get a casting job. And at this time, I just started to apply to all these casting jobs that were coming out. And people were like, like trying to alley-oop me, like, oh, recommending me here, recommending there. And I wasn't getting anything. And I felt like people were like, I'm at the outside of a castle, which is like Hollywood. And people are like throwing ropes down, but they're too short. Like I'm jumping up and I can't, get in. And I just felt like I was very close to like giving up. Like I was like, dang, maybe this isn't, maybe it was a one-off. And then I interviewed for a pilot at Call of Niccolo Casting. And I was just like, hey, like, give me a shot. Let me try. Because she was like, you don't really have much experience, and from there, it was like I was in. Like that was like the rope. Like I got in and I never looked back.
Very cool. What year was that?
That was 2019.
So in 1 year, your door opened. Like you reached for the rope for a few months, nothing clicked, and then you jump and you got.
And even before that, like I moved to LA in 2015.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I worked this pharmaceutical job
3
where,
years.
yeah,
Salute.
and that's when I was managing people. So I was like, had no idea what I wanted to do.
That's a question I did. What did you do with your clients? How did you not have the clients that you were represented?
Most of them were like friends or people I know. So it was like,
Yeah.
And then it's like, the more knowledge I got, it's like, okay, actually, maybe this manager can help you get
Copy.
this. This can do that. Or maybe you need to take some acting classes. Like,
Copy.
you know, get it, you know, hone your craft. Like, I feel like it's all about your path, man.
Having all of these creative interests that you've spoken about, because you mentioned that you're an aspiring writer, aspiring director. How has being a casting director shaped your point of view and your creative interest outside of casting?
That's a great question. So I feel like being casting associate casting director, you see the back end, you see how decisions are made. And as most people, if you don't know, a casting director is not going to be the final say of casting. We put up our selects, the people that we think are the best, and then we discuss it with the director, the producers, maybe the studio. And, you know, and everyone has to agree, basically. So just like I was telling you before, I like being on set. Mm-hmm. So like producing, it's just a rush. It's definitely stressful, as I'm sure y'all know.
Good stress.
It is. And it's just like, I like storytelling all around, from all aspects. Mm-hmm. So that's making the shoot happen. That's getting the cast, writing it, you know, being a visionary.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I want to do.
So what has casting taught you as far as like one of the most important lessons in this industry?
I think the most important lesson is that everything is subjective. Just because someone says, oh yeah, you suck, you can't act, or someone says, you're not right for this industry, or you can't do this, you can't do that. That's their fucking opinion. It has nothing to do with you. You might be someone else's bread and butter. Everything is subjective. You
mentioned understanding the process now that you're, you know, in a position behind the table. Mm-hmm. So how does the process work, right? If a writer writes a project, what happens from there? And let's say
like it's funded, it's ready to go.
Let's say at the end of the day it's greenlit, it's a go. What happens?
They'll attach everyone that needs to be attached on the development side, producers. They'll attach a casting director. Okay. And then from there,
so it goes from producer to casting director, to the producer to director.
Like they are probably already all attached by the time it gets to us.
Okay.
So by the time it gets to us, there's already a team. They're bringing the casting director on, and they might already have talent that are attached. They might be like, oh, can you cast this film? So-and-so. John Boyega's attached. He's going to be this. But we need everything else cast, or, you know. They might have ideas. So basically, when it comes to casting, we cast up lists, which are just ideas that we have that'll have photos, reels, everything. And then we also reread roles, which is basically just posting a breakdown. So what we'll do is get the script and we'll break it down, get all the character descriptions. We'll try to put as much as we can without giving too much away to give actors the best, you know, chance of being able to portray it correctly. And then we'll send it out to all the major agencies. They'll pitch us their favorite peoples, whoever they rep. They'll submit their people, and then we'll go from there. We'll request auditions. We'll check avails on other ideas. Okay. And then we just kind of compile everything and try to find the best people, and then, you know, put it up to the team and let them decide, and we talk it out with them, give our opinions, hear theirs. And yeah, because sometimes, you know, people that we bring to the team are completely different from what they originally thought, but they're like, oh wow, like this changes things. Like it breathe new life into a story.
Breath of fresh air.
A breath of fresh air, if you will.
Do you prefer self-tapes or in-person auditions?
You already know the answer to that.
I don't. Right? I want to know.
In person.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Everybody's different.
Do people say self-tapes?
Hell yeah. I think it's split. Genuinely.
Really?
I think it's split. I think everybody's different.
I hear that people enjoy being in a room more, but people appreciate the fact that if they mess up, they can try again during audition tapes. Okay. So I think there's pros and cons, but I personally prefer it.
So
I personally don't care either way, but like I don't mind a self-tape or an in-person. Okay. But I'm curious to know from your seat, what do you prefer? So you prefer in person?
I prefer in person.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any specific reason why?
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons. So auditions are my favorite part of the job, and it's great being in the room with actors because you can redirect people. There are people that are so great, and you're like, oh, if we could just tell them one thing, one little small adjustment, they'd nail it. But with self-tape, it's like you get what you get, and sometimes we don't have time to request a retake.
Yeah, fair.
So that's kind of frustrating. And like my job now, you know, Well, right now I don't have one.
Yeah, straight. Yeah. Hold it down.
Yeah, so we're striking a little bit. Spend a lot of my time just looking at a computer screen.
Hollywood, baby.
You know, we have a lot of self-tapes, and it's like we can't really request as many as you'd like because it's very time-consuming.
Okay.
So, and I feel like it just doesn't give actors the best chance, I don't think.
Self-tapes don't give actors the best chance. Okay.
Because also there's some people that just like their energy is infectious when they walk in a room. Energy just changes the dynamic of everything. And sometimes it doesn't come across on a
tape.
I also think that actors put a lot of too much pressure on these self-tapes. I don't think you don't have to. These services are great if you can afford it and if it makes sense for you, but you don't have to do it. As long as you have an iPhone, a clear shot, well lit space, clear background, you can do it. Like, people overthink it too much. It's not that deep.
It's not.
Just do it then forget about it.
I think more people should know that, because like I'm not in a space where I'm taping it 100 times or going to I have a self-tape set up in my home, but like I love the creative freedom that comes with it, but I also, like you said, I truly enjoy being in that intimate space with the casting director one-on-one, so you can get the notes, you can feel the energy in the room, you can be present, you know they saw you, because you might get 500 self-submissions, and by all means, y'all might watch every single one.
We do.
Salute, they watch every single one. But like you said, like, and that's dope. And I just feel like it's pros and cons to either lane.
Agreed.
Genuinely. I feel like it's pros
Agreed.
and cons to either.
Sure. I'm hearing both.
I mean, I feel like, not to cut you off, but a pro is definitely people that can submit from, anywhere.
Anywhere USA.
I mean, I feel like that has opened up a lot for like projects, like say, because a lot of people do. Sometimes it's annoying if someone isn't actually in LA when we book them, but like sometimes it's like people could be like, oh, I'm an LA local, but they live in Connecticut, and they're just still sending it in. So it does, that is annoying. Actually, like if we book you and you say you're whatever city that you're based in, be there, or make sure you can be there.
Yeah.
Don't have your agent come back and be like, oh, we need a flight. No.
Yeah.
No.
Immediately. That's funny.
Don't lie.
Don't lie.
You're really giving out a lot of gems. Christian brought up a good point. In all my years, I've never heard of CSA. And
I've heard of CSA. I didn't.
Casting union.
Well, I mean, again, it's really about whether or not like people. I mean, I've seen it in my auditions. And I mean, like,
like on the end of people's name.
But you don't know what that means. And if I've known a lot of people who wanted to work in casting and did not know the first steps, so I really appreciate.
That's a shortcut, y'all.
Yeah. Okay. So with all these creative interest that you have, what keeps you motivated? And what would you say to somebody who has the same appetite for creativity that you have, that might mean looking to like replenish their motivation with something?
I feel like what keeps me motivated is people in my circle, people around me. Everyone around me is passionate. I'm passionate. And I really believe in just like being aligned. I believe in divine timing, following your purpose. I've always known that my purpose is to help other people reach their potential. Like I've known that since elementary school. My teachers used to sit me next to like the quiet kid or the kid that would get bullied. Because I would just talk to everybody and anybody and like, have them joking around by the end of class. And I feel like that kind of has transferred into what I do now, is like help pull people out of themselves. And the people around me do that for me. They help me be the best version of myself just by being the best versions of themselves. So that's what I feel like I do to other people. Or that's the goal I hope to do.
No.
Just like inspire you to go after your shit, go after your dreams, do what you don't think you can do, because fortune only favors the bold.
That's a fact.
You risk it, the reward will be high every time.
See, I definitely heard of CSA. I didn't know you can go on their site and apply for a casting opportunity.
So yeah, so it's not actually their site. It's just signing up for their email news, like the email mailing list.
And then watching your email.
And then, and then whenever any office, it'll be like, Carmen Cuba needs a casting assistant.
Right.
Kim Coleman looking for a casting assistant, whoever.
What has been, say as little or a lot as you want. I don't know if I said that right. Grammar police. But what has been your funnest experience in the casting space?
I think my funnest, I've had a lot of fun ones. I've been really blessed. I've had like the projects I've worked on have been also kind of different from each other. I feel like what comes to mind, I think, is because it was also like the first casting job that I felt like I had a voice. I cast this pilot with Jessica Mux. She was a casting director at Call of Niccolo. She's now on the studio side. And I had just left Marvel. Like I was casting at Seraphin. I was
Flex.
Hard. Stop playing.
Flex.
Bars.
Flitted it.
big, and I learned a lot there. But I was like, but it ended, so I was like a little distraught. Like, dang. So like, what do you do after a dream
What was your
job?
position at Marvel?
Casting assistant.
Casting assistant.
So I worked on WandaVision. I worked on Winter Soldier, Falcon,
So
Hawkeye,
cool.
and Loki. Like the streaming, Disney, Marvel streaming.
Dope.
So but after that, but it was like a short stint. It was like 3 months, and then that was moving on.
Right.
But I was like kind of like bummed about it. So I'm like, dang, like I want to, keep going. What's next? And Jessica hit me up. Was like, I know you're at Seraphin. You're all fancy over there, but can you come? Do you think you have time to come help me with a pilot? And I was like, actually, I do have time. And it was for Apple and Annapurna. And it was starring Jake Johnson. He was a New Girl. He was Nick in New Girl.
Okay.
I hope you guys watched it. And it was just the first time that people like really asked my opinion. Like, oh, well, Irie, who do you think? Like, who's better out of these two? Like, after every person they read. And it was just like high energy. And it just kind of made me realize like, oh, casting doesn't have to always be stressful. Like, it's fun. And I'm value. And people value my opinion. So I feel like it was like, just that was another light bulb moment. Like, okay, like I'm in the room now. And people care what I have to say. But it was just like the lightheartedness, like Jake Johnson's so playful. Yeah. I was telling people about this one. We had like kind of a rough day because we had like producers at the office and they were kind of uptight. And we were trying to cast like younger versions of the older cast that had already been cast. And I feel like I said cast like 18 times. We've already cast.
This is your arena.
But everyone like was kind of tense and irritated. And then Jake comes in. And he's like looking at all the headshots of people that we've already cast, and he just like starts like scribbling. And he's like, "All right, I'm fucking sick of this shit. Like, y'all aren't doing your jobs. Like, we need to get on it." And he storms out and comes back in. And he was like, "If these people in the hallway waiting don't look like this, send them the fuck home." And he's like holding up. Then he holds up the headshots, and he drew like a mustache and like a pirate's patch over their faces, or like a crown, just like so stupid, but it just completely broke the. Because everyone was just like,
funny.
Because everyone was like,
Wow.
He's like, "They don't look like this time, motherfucker."
That's hilarious.
But it was just so funny because I was just like,
It's
you
like
know what? People with good energy, like good energy wins every time. And I was like, so now I'm always gonna be a fan of him. I'm always gonna be like, he's a good guy.
It's like episode of Entourage right there. Like real Ari Gold energy.
I wanted to be Irie Gold.
Really?
Yeah.
Entourage.
When I moved here to be a talent agent, I was like, oh, Irie Gold.
Entourage is a huge percentage of the reason why I'm in entertainment. 100%. I wanted to be Vince clearly, but now I have desires to be Vince and Ari in one.
Period.
Yeah.
I still got a little Ari in me too. No, but yeah. What were we talking about?
We were talking about all things casting.
Oh, I was telling you my story about
The funnest experience.
But to me that was probably the funnest experience, and I also got to be an extra in that episode. So
dope.
So it's basically like a mockumentary about there's a cult that I can't remember what it was called, but there's a documentary about this cult that was really popular at the time, and this was just like a mockumentary about it. And he was the cult leader, and that was like in this dojo. It's called Devil in the Dojo. And we were at this mansion all wearing white, like doing exercises on the lawn. And it was just so much fun. It was just like, it was like a confirmation. Like, I'm in the right field. This is what I want to do. And what it's going to be. Like, I can really create my own path. I can create the job opportunities I take and who I surround myself with creatively.
That was very
Love that. What is your biggest, greatest change that you wish to see in this industry through your work?
Through my work, I want to just inspire more kids that look like me to go after the crew jobs. Everyone's very, very adamant about diversity on camera, which is great when it's done right, when it's not just checking a box. But the crews, it doesn't reflect behind the scenes at all. Like if you go on most productions and you take a crew photo, you're not going to see many black, brown, POC at all. You're not. And that is problematic.
Aside from,
So
please go ahead.
So just
sorry.
as far as me
Take
like
your time.
casting, producing stuff, just making sure that my crews are always, representative of the real world. And then the stories I write, like I want to be able to transport people. I like sci-fi. So stuff I write is like sci-fi, romance, comedy as well, but just like stuff that can really open people's minds and like
Stay on that for a minute. When did you get your path in writing? What happened that made you want to tap into that part of yourself?
I've always wanted to be a writer and I was always too scared to.
What broke those chains?
Break every chain.
What broke the chain?
Shout out to Tasha Cobbler.
This book, The Artist's Way. Have y'all heard of it?
You gotta add it
never
to
read
the
it.
collection.
It's probably here somewhere. I ain't gonna
Everyone has this book and no one's opened it.
The Art of Sweat.
Yeah, I don't have that book. But
I had it for like a year or two before I even opened it.
what's the best lesson you found in that book?
So basically the whole premise is that everyone is an artist, whether you're an accountant, whether you are teacher, policeman, anybody. But we might have blockages. And the way to hone in and find your true artist is to write morning pages, which is every day you write 3 pages. You got to like clear out your brain, get everything out, like all the stupid things we think about, things you have to do. You put it on the page and you forget about it for the day. And then now that you're clear, you can think about the things that you actually want to think about, things you actually want to create. And you also have to take yourself on an artist date once a week by yourself. And it's just really about becoming an artist, letting yourself be an artist.
What was your favorite artist name? What did you do?
Ooh, good question.
I do a lot of picnics.
Okay.
So like I do this thing Caviar Sunday. So that's probably,
Okay. That's what's up.
a little caviar, a little bubbly,
Caviar
some
Sunday.
music at the park.
What
Trademarked it.
That's you. We got you.
in the space of each one teach one and that wonderful gem you gave us earlier for signing up for the CSA.
You love that one.
No, that's amazing. No. I'll probably keep referencing that because I'm curious to know in that same space for the people that look like us that have ambition to be in the entertainment industry for crew jobs, what other resources similar to that do you know that you might be able to provide? Where to go for internships or schools even, or training or seminars or anything in that aspect?
So as far as when it comes to like, you say you want to be a DP, say you want to do anything on crew side, I don't have I don't have an exact website like how I have for the CSA,
Right.
but
Even certain Facebook groups, maybe.
yes, there are Facebook groups, and there's also this like Instagram pages. I would recommend finding like whatever you want to do. If you want to be a DP, if you want to be a showrunner, a writer, look up your favorite shows, see who's on that crew, follow them, reach out to them. They might not respond, but they might. Or they might, especially if it's someone that looks like us, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be like, oh, this is what I used here. Yeah. Take these tools, be great.
If a young lady from Detroit DM'd you right now and said, "Hi, Irie, I've been following your journey for years. I love what you're doing in the casting space. I want to get into casting. What should I do?" What would you tell her?
I'd be like, well, you've been following me. You have taste. Number 1. Number 2, I would basically direct them to cast anything and everything to get started, get that experience. That's student films. That's, going backstage. Yeah. If you have friends that are in the industry that have projects, cast your friends' projects. Get that experience so that when you do sign up for a CSA mailing list and a position opens up, you're ready.
You have a resume, you have experience.
Yeah, so it's hard for casting. There isn't I can't, at least not that I'm aware of. There's not a program let me be a casting director, let me take this. Because really it's about taste. It's and trust. So do these producers, writers, do they trust you to bring them the best talent?
Yeah.
Do you have the experience? The only way you'll really get trained in all of these secret things that no one talks about is getting hired at an office. Because then they'll okay, this is how this is done. This is how this is done.
No better training than on the job.
Exactly. Yeah. And I didn't actually even really get trained for real for the first 2 years of casting.
Yeah.
That's how really till I got to Kim Coleman's office, and I was like, oh, this is how you do this. Oh, period.
Right. That's funny. Shout out to Kim Coleman.
Shout out to Kim Coleman.
Yeah, she's a blessing. She's a blessing.
1000%.
No, for sure. So remind us again of your first project you cast outside of the YouTube space. The first project you did, and then the biggest lesson that you've learned since then.
So the first project I cast was a pilot for ABC called Untitled Just the Gal. It was basically marketed as Lazy Rich Asians. So it was like, that's what it was like with the title. So it was like a Chinese American family. The grandma owns a laundromat. She passed and left it to her underachieving granddaughter, who was like the loser of the family. So now she has the mansion and the family business, and she's like running the family. And it was like a comedy, and it was great. They should have picked it up. And then what was the second? I know there was some, and that other one, that Apple Annapurna one with the cult one that I was just telling you guys about with Jake Johnson. That one should have got picked up too. So there's a bunch of them. I've done some Disney pilots that didn't get picked up. But yeah, and so what was the other question? The
biggest lesson you've learned since you started up to this point. The
biggest lesson I've learned is really to just do it. Anything you want to do, you have to just do it, because you might fail, but time and effort, like, it really prevails. Like, the more you keep going, everything is a time game. Like, it's all timing. The more you do it, it's a numbers game as well. Like, the more you try, the better your chances are of succeeding. There's a lot of people that just kind of give up or get tired, which is understandable, but it's like your blessing could be right around the corner. Also, probably the biggest thing would be just building your network. I keep talking about tribe and community, but it's so important. Like Issa Rae always said, hey, Issa Rae. Hey, Issa.
Hi.
Network. Hey,
Come join us on Pass.
Always, it's network across, not up. And I really took that to heart, and it's made all the difference. I think that is the biggest thing. It's like, and also, like, your time is your time, and what's for you is for you. Like, you can't compare yourself. Like, I know a lot of actors, especially, you guys have a lot of actor friends, like, oh, so-and-so's booking, why am I not booking? Because it's not for you right now. But that's not to say it won't be. Like, for like the Tyler Perry stuff, we read a lot of people, like, I've been reading people for years, and I'm sure they're like, and they might not even know how close they were to getting it. Like, they might have been, on a short list of 5 names, but we didn't pin anyone because the decision was made quick. So I didn't pin you. You don't even know. I didn't put you on Watching the Vibes. You don't even know how close you were. You just think, oh, I put this audition, it sucked, or I didn't get it, and you put all these negative thoughts on yourself. Don't do it.
Don't do that.
Why traumatize yourself?
No, for real.
Do your best and throw it away, and don't think about it again.
That's real.
But also, it's like, but it's not fair, because sometimes there's like, you don't know how close you were. But it's like, so someone that might have been, you don't think you did well on on this audition, you might book it the next time.
To speak to that saved my life one night. I was in class in Atlanta. It was 2015-16. I was auditioning, funny enough, for a Tyler Perry project. And I was in class, and a friend of mine worked in the office, and she just came up to me and she said, it was Brittany Horton. She said,
Shout out to Brittany.
She said, "You're not about to quit, are you?" And I was like, "No, but I am thinking about taking a moment and reassess how I'm approaching this." Mm-hmm. And she pulled me outside and she told me a story very similar to what you said. Like, Christian, you were like this close, and you wouldn't know that, but I do. Right. So I'm gonna tell you to let you know, like, you better not quit. And I was like, thank you for telling me that. I needed to hear that, but I wasn't about to quit. So what you're saying is 100%.
Yeah.
You mentioned failing. Has there been a moment where you felt like you failed or failed in the moment, and whether you realized it very shortly after or now presently in hindsight, you realize that failure helped you in the long run?
Yeah, I don't believe in failure. I don't think there's a such thing.
Okay.
It's all about your perspective.
Okay.
Like, you can get fired from something, or you can not book something. But again, maybe you weren't supposed to be in that space, or maybe you're supposed to just learn something. Like, instead of a failure, it's a lesson. So no, I've never failed at anything.
Bars.
Love it.
Ever.
Bars.
Gangster.
I'm my biggest fan, and you also have to be your biggest fan.
Yeah.
To make it.
Has it always been that way? Have you always felt that way? Okay, no. So what happened in life that clicked that?
I think just going through just time, like, the people that, when it clicks, are the people that don't give up, the people that keep going. And so I've had a lot of obstacles. Like, I don't know when it clicked, but it did. And I was like, who can back me if I don't back me?
Amen.
Like, I know I'm the best. Like, I will be the best casting director.
There you go.
I will be. You will know me, but it's not yet. But you will.
Looking forward to it.
Actors.
Playing with me. The big Irie, not the.
Not the little one. Don't
the
ever
little
call it a little one.
No, but yeah, you have to. Kanye mentality is real.
What mentality?
Kanye. Well,
Kanye mentality.
some of his mentality.
I was like, say what?
Just how I didn't want to ever find.
I know exactly.
Genius.
Everybody
Practicing
knows
your-
exactly what
Yeah,
you're
Yeah,
got
so
you.
good.
We
Like
got
him
you.
practicing his Grammy speeches, walking to the train stop and like
That's how you
you
do
have
it.
to you have to, if you don't believe it, it's not gonna happen.
That's a fact. Is there's a question actors hate getting.
Which is
What's next? I want to drop kick people when they ask me that, right? So instead of asking Irie what's next, right, in the casting space, what does Irie want to do next? What does she desire next? If God pulled up on you and said, hey, daughter, what do you want next? Whatever you desire, I'm going to snap my fingers and make it happen. What would you tell God?
What would be next would be just working on stories and projects that I feel connected to, that I feel like people need to see or hear, or like I was saying, I like sci-fi, I like escapism. So I like stories that let people escape whatever they're going through to go, to something else, another story, someone else. So I would say like casting a feature series that I really love.
That's your passion.
Yeah, like something I'm passionate, something that really speaks to me.
Excite
And
something
just
within
what's
you.
next for me is just, I want to be just the most authentic version of Irie.
Copy.
I just want to be walking my purpose. I can't put like, oh, I'm going to do this, I want to do this. 'Cause I'm going to do it all. But at this moment, I'm not exactly sure what that is. But I have faith that it's going to be amazing.
Amen.
Amen.
You mentioned something very earlier, the grammar police.
I got y'all nervous.
A little bit.
I haven't been in the room with casting in quite some time.
My cheek keep on shaking. Going these joints right here.
All right, guys. Throw it away.
Nah. Earlier you mentioned looking into the camera, and we haven't done it every time, but this time I would like for you to look into your camera,
Right.
and manifest what it is you want for yourself 5 years from now. And it can be one thing, be three things. Guys listening, and
5
everybody's
years
praying
from now.
Casting,
Somebody's
writing,
praying.
directing,
Yeah.
outside of
like?
entertainment, period.
5 years from now, Emmy Award winner,
Yeah.
Irie Williams for casting,
Big Irie.
for writing.
Fine.
Emmy for writing, fire,
Yeah.
Yeah.
big deal.
That's what it is.
Also, I will have a initiative, a program, something to help people either break in or maintain mental health,
Yes.
entertainment.
Yes.
I'm not sure exactly, but something about community. I know that I will be heavily involved in community. And 5 years now, I'll just be happy, flourishing, thriving.
Happy, flourishing, and thriving.
We're happy for you. We're so
Very
happy you
happy.
stopped by to hang out
So
with
glad
us
that y'all had me. This is lovely.
Thank you so much.
You guys are
for
doing a
pulling
great
up.
thing. It's dope.
Thank you so much for pulling up.
Hoping
Taking
someone
time out of your day.
learns
Yeah, hoping. I hope. I know they definitely got. And you know what my favorite thing was. So yep. There you go.
CSA, that's a gym I didn't know. There was maybe 2 weeks where I was like, man, you know what, maybe I'm gonna quit and just like help out. And I would have liked to have had that URL. Because like I like to
information,
connect people and be a part of that part of the process too. So
Yeah.
I know a lot of other people who would love that information.
Do you? This, and I'll close after this. But one last question: how do you feel about AI in the entertainment space?
Hate it. Scares me.
Fair.
I think it's ridiculous, especially like the way they want to use it as far as
Yeah.
with background actor scanning someone, paying for a day's work, and you have their likeness forever. It's insane. It's really gross and predatory. Same with AI. Like if they're using AI to write scripts, they still use real people to tune up these scripts, just so you don't have to pay people. It's not going to be.
It's not gonna be.
I'm just
good.
against it. It's a slippery slope, and we just need to dead it right now.
I'm with you.
Yeah, and because we're recording and it's 2023, I do have a real answer for that as far as the strike.
Yeah.
I will echo all of his sentiments and pray that these studios have more integrity behind the way that they handle their talent.
Yeah.
But that's how I honestly feel about it.
I agree 100%. I honestly believe that tides are changing, batons are being passed
Yes.
in Hollywood, and it's a new dawn, and we're not taking that shit anymore.
Not even a little bit.
Nobody is.
As long as it takes.
Catch me outside.
Catch us
How about that?
outside. How about that? But
Catch us
yeah,
outside picketing.
but also just don't get discouraged.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
It's like we're not bowing to y'all. Not by a long shot.
discouraged.
Obviously, we can
And lean on each other. We're all going through it, so
Amen.
community is really important. But thank you guys so much for
Irie, thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you for pulling up, dropping these gems, extending your time, and this wonderful episode.
Hashtag pass for us. Thank you for joining us.
One love.